Awesome.
You know, we're never letting go. This is how we can reach the sky on a
Well, everybody, welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Optimize My Life Golden Rule Society radio show that we broadcast on the Blog Radio Show, which is part of a network of radio shows that go out to about 93 countries. My name is Ron Claydon. I'm your host today, co-hosting with a gentleman who has become, and he and his wife have become both great friends of my wife and I, but we travel partners. And since we call this is Travel Tuesday. And, of course, the title on our show is Travel Smart, Live Well, and it's your guide to health and wealth. What many people don't realize is that how travel, if you think of it, it really makes sense. When you start thinking about travel, now I know there's a lot of people traveling right now to get a little out of the way of a storm and to be healthy, and we want the people to do. And we pray for those who are avoiding the storm and they have to evacuate. And, of course, there's many that didn't. And we pray for their health and their well-being, and we on our hearts. I encourage everybody to contribute in any way you can to help that relief. But today I'm going to introduce you and let him share some of the great things of travel that he has seen in his life. I know last night on his ministry show called Marketplace Ministries, Rick and Brenda were talking about their journey for when they got started in the industry, and he actually shared some things earlier in his life, how God had used him through his life to touch people's lives. And today, he's done it for my wife and I, he and Brenda, and he's still touching lives. And we use it through this tool. It's like having a good toolbox. And I'll tell my story about that later, but the toolbox has got a lot of good tools to make life better. So I want to introduce you to the guy who's the master carpenter, he's a carpenter's son, I guess. But I want to introduce you to Rick Reese because he's my friend, my buddy, we're dancing in the moonlight on the beaches together. Hi, Rick. How are you today? You want to unmute your phone? Rick, I don't have you muted. The dashboard's got your microphone on. Let's try this again. See what's going on here. Can you hear me now? Rick, I can hear some noise in the background. Okay, let's see if Rick calls back in again, folks. Can you, Bob? Can you still hear me? Bob Oakley?
Yeah, I can hear you, Ronnie.
Okay, waiting for Rick to call back in. He has. Let's see if we can get his mic live. Hey, there he is, the man of the hour, Mr. Outstanding.
I was just saying, yes, I am the son of a carpenter. Oh, that's funny. Humble beginnings.
Well, we're so glad. Yeah.
One of the things, Ron, and I was talking to, good to be on the show. Blessings. It's an honor to be on the show. We, with the Hope Collection, we reach out to veterans, first responders, and their families. And thinking about carpenters and just the trades. And one of the focuses, having moved to Charleston, South Carolina, looking for ways to reach out to our veterans and to build a veterans community, residential homes, as well as workforce development centers. You know, there's a shortage of 1.5 million trade-skilled workers that are needed. And one of the things that we was looking at is tapping into veterans. And because, you know, just as a vet, there's a certain commodity that you have in work ethic, in just integrity, honesty, those kinds of things that, you know, we are drilled and rehearsed as member of armed forces.
Rick,
And,
you might say it's been drilled into you.
drilled. And where, you know, it's like breathing. However, 22 veterans plus are committing suicide, you know, every day. And we all have heard and known about the problem with homelessness among veterans and employment, the lack thereof among veterans. And so we're looking at building veteran campuses across the United States that have residential, residential and housing, that have training facilities, workforce development, manufacturing, and many other things, you know, wraparound services, mental health services that the veterans need, all self-contained on this campus. And being able to go after homelessness as an issue, as a problem, being able to supply and fill the $1.5 million projected vacancy in now skilled workers, you know, and being able to train them in these different areas, you know, and to meet the requirements, the job requirements. You know, there's a program when you get out the military called TAP, the Transition Assistance Program. Being able to facilitate TAP, you know, TAP, and Mary had mentioned this once before, you know, it's a good program when you're honorably discharged. There are people, though, that are not, you know, honorably per se discharged. But even if you're honorably discharged, TAP only takes it so far. So being able to be an extension of TAP to help military members transition, you know, into civilian life and into the workforce with the skill. And so we're looking at building these centers, these communities, veteran communities, campuses across the nation. And I was on a conversation earlier today, and this, by the way, of course, is the mission of what we do with the Hope, you know, our Hope Foundation, you know, that you are the president of and founded by Joe Griffin. And, you know, but this is reaching out to veterans with solutions, real-time solutions. Now, of course, the folks that I'm working with is not related to Hope in that way, but except through me. And, of course, through me, through you.
Our association has the commonality of the Hope Collection and Golden Rule Society, which Ron Claydon heads up. And these are umbrella organizations that facilitate, like, bringing in and connecting the people you're talking about, and with a real answer. You know, there are people who right now that there's absolute immediate, like today, that people need help in the Carolinas, Georgia, North and South Carolina, Florida again. And those are immediate. I mean, like today, you need to get the tankers in there. You need to get helicopters delivering food and water. That's immediate. Now, once we get past that, now we're back to homes again. We're into dwellings. We're into community, and that's where I think we fit really, really well. We're not the guys and gals that deliver the water and food and clothing directly. We can support those. Well, where we come into play, we have a big niche that we actually address. By the way, I was thinking here, Rick, I look at the crack of noon. Sometimes I used to tease you when you lived in Colorado that you'd be getting up at the crack of noon for your breakfast. And now, of course, you get up early because you're on the East Coast. And but I was having a little breakfast here, and I'm choking on some almonds.
Right, I just had breakfast also. So crack of noon still applies.
Well, I'm sorry, it's causing me. I have a lot of my heart.
Take your time. Take your time. Let me finish. Well, take your time. I got it. And so,
okay,
being able to build these campuses, being able to build these veteran campuses, veteran utopias across the states that not only have the residential, that has workforce development centers, but being able to put a capability on the campus for manufacturing jobs, actually producing products from the campus itself. Data storage is a huge deal right now. So having the campus large enough to be able to host data storage for these major companies that are looking for it. We're talking power production and being able to produce energy and power to feed back into whatever local grid, electricity, sell electricity. International manufacturing, companies that want to do business in the United States, in a particular business with the government, and being able to provide that access, direct access, for them to be able to do business and to secure government contracts. We're looking at a procurement academy, to teach entrepreneurism, and also how and to own and operate a small business, veteran-owned business, and dealing with service-disabled veterans and even tribal, native, women-owned businesses, and but being able to provide a procurement academy that provides that kind of training and access, to not only skills development but also in understanding here's how you do business with the government. Business with the government is billion dollar industry, and it's something that people are not aware of in how to get engaged. And so being able to teach that to our veterans, who are in different type categories of set-asides and different things. And but having the campus that builds that model and rehearses that model and refines that model to go across the nation. And so one of the things that in South Carolina is one of the things I'm doing is to look for land. And so we're looking for 50 to 100 acres of land, and I'd love to be showcase this in Charleston, South Carolina, before we take it across the nation and south, but to be able to build the model here. And so, Ron, I've been calling around and to try to track down and to find the land. And we have partners who, Rick, if we find the land, we're good to go. We can make this thing happen. Developers, investors, we got the whole kit and caboodle ready to engage once we find the land. So I had a call this morning, and the prospects were looking good, Ron. The prospects were looking good. Yeah,
wonderful.
So I know. And because finding land, open land, is almost like impossible because things, of development and different things. And there's a new, I guess, it's called urbanist approach to building communities. And many of us have seen it where, you've got like a center where all the community can hang out. And then you've got, let's see, I'm going to call him back. 1 second here. I'll call him back. But 1 second here. Where the community can hang out, and you've got the recreation, you've got the food places, and all the different things where, as a central point, the community can come together. This has been more and more the blueprint of community development. Where you've got, it's called being a new urbanist type development, and that's the community that we have found where there is land that is still available. And so we've got a conversation, tomorrow with the investors, developers, on my side to talk to, the folks who have the land, the management company, land management company. And so we're meeting tomorrow, and, everything, and we talk about it, is spiritual. Everything is a done deal. That's why when we talk about travel on Tuesday, and we talk about Surge 365, we talk about business ownership. If people only knew that it is a done deal waiting for them to step into it, they're the missing piece. If they only knew.
It's amazing.
And believed.
Well, you know what? There's been so much disappointment. I'm not justifying it. I'm saying there's been so many there have been programs, and there's been the problem in the past. I want to describe it this way. The problem in the past is that in order to make things happen, people thought you had to build a bureaucracy. And the problem is when you build a bureaucracy, the job does not get done. All the energy, all the resources, everything gets chewed up, used up, blocked up, chucked. It's like, you want to have a clean drain. Right now, I got to have my brother-in-law come over, and we have some drainage issues that our sink doesn't drain. And we talked to him, and he knows. He's real handy and does stuff. So Ron, I got a machine I'll bring over, and we'll unclog it for you so that your sink will go up. Well, see, what happens is the pipelines for success get blocked up with bureaucracy, and the bureaucracy eats up all the energy, eats up all the production, eats up all the end result.
Ron. Actually, before that. It's the bureaucracy and the mindset.
Yeah.
You're talking about the easy one to overcome. The initial bureaucracy is the mindset of believing it's not possible for me. And once they overcome that, Rick, of course, then they hit. Mm-hmm.
Rick, maybe you've been teaching me for so long about having not only being optimistic, not rah-rah is optimistic, but Joel and other people, Len Kane, yourself, and others have been so encouraging for so long and showed us how to remain or help to get sometimes we're in our own jails. I remember we go back 4 years ago, we were locked down by a government. That's bureaucracy. We were locked down by the threat of maybe getting sick. Those are real issues.
But listen to this, though. Even during that time, with the bureaucracy of the government during COVID, that was my best time ever in life. That was one of my best times ever in life. And you know why? Because I'm free in my mind. And it's amazing because everything is perspective and how you look at a thing. Change the way you look at a thing, and the thing that you look at changes, Dwyer. But that time when the government locked down everything global was the best time of my life. Now, granted, there's people that lost their lives, and it was a terrible time for a lot of people. But just giving the example, when you're free in your mind, nothing can tie you down. There's no limits. When there are no limits in your mind, there's no limits in your ability. There's no limits in your world. it is your oyster. And bureaucracy only applies to the folks who believe it. Those who do not believe it, bureaucracy it's like the fire. The 3 Hebrew boys, the fire had no effect on them, even though they were in the furnace. It had no effect. The only thing that burnt off was the things that bound them. And, just the same thing. In the midst of a bureaucracy, a person who is free and their mindset is free, like you were saying, people are in jail in their own minds, but they're free, there are still no limits. Why? Because society will mold to the person and their thinking, not the other way around. If you allow society to control the way you think, it will hold you a prisoner. If you say, okay, no, I'm free and this is what I want to do. The Lord has given us the power to create. And that's why we talk a lot of time on the call about the vision that a person has. Because the vision that the person has will prevail. Albert Einstein says your imagination is a preview of life's coming attractions. And so it's already been done, right? It's already been done. And so if a person says, okay, I'm going to sit down, even after hearing this show, and I'm going to just think, what is it that I desire? What is it that I want, in my life to manifest, quote unquote, manifest in my life? And they write that down. There is no bureaucracy. There is no anything that can stop that. That shifts to the supernatural, right? Power of God. And it moves.
You are saying the truth.
It moves anything and everything. All things become possible, to him who believes. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But it shifts it into that realm of, there is nothing there are no limits. Things are boundless. It shifts it into that realm. So now when we're talking about Search 365 travel business, and I was looking at a picture someone posted on Facebook of the highways leaving Florida. They're like gridlocked. And I'm like, you know what? You may stay in a hotel. Then again, you may not. All the millions of people who are leaving, however many people who are leaving, hundreds of thousands. And you may stay in a hotel or you may not. But you know how we talk about the vortex. The vortex as a product of Search 365. And one of these days, and this is the vision, that the organizations, the Red Cross, the churches, the funeral homes, give out this free link to the evacuees. And say, hey, just take a look. If it saves you money, use it. Now, we know the vortex. When somebody books a hotel through the vortex, he goes out and it looks at the Expedia real-time price and reports back that real-time price and has an algorithm that brings the price through the vortex for the same hotel, up to 60% less. The person saves money. I know it's going to happen where they can give out this link to the millions, hundreds of thousands who are evacuating. Here's a free link you have access to. If it saves you money, great. If not, it's okay. It's a free complimentary link. All these people are evacuating. Raising the money to help in the recovery while they go through the crisis, even before the crisis, even after the crisis. Well, how is that, Rick? The average savings over the Expedia price through the vortex is $50. $50. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it actually adds up, right? Imagine 500 travelers, and we've seen the gridlock, hundreds of thousands. 500 travelers save $50. That's $15,000 coming into an organization, coming into the Red Cross. Imagine 1,500 travelers saving $50, $1,500 of the hundreds of thousands. It's a small number. That's $45,000. Rick, where's that money going now? It's going to Expedia. It's going to Priceline, who own all the other booking engines. Billions of dollars they earn. We're not hurting them. We're talking about a tool in Search 365 to harness and redirect global wealth, not only during times of crisis, but looking on the heels of 9 billion people being locked down during COVID, now released and want to travel. Being able to override that travel, since the majority of travel is being booked online. Do you know $667 billion people booking online, which is going to grow by the end of 2030 to $1 trillion of people booking online. The people today don't remember the old travel agents we used to know, right? They had all the power, but because everything's shifting to the internet. I know as a vision that we're going to be able to harness and redirect this wealth to go into our communities, to go into our organizations, to go into our churches, to go into individual families to create wealth. Over to you, Ron.
Well, Rick, to expand a little bit more, another viewpoint of what you just shared, I use the word stewardship.
Awesome.
See, we all have, and I'll relate it to church, but I want to say we have a stewardship for any group of families. We have stewardship that we're supposed to be in charge of. With stewardship means we look over, we watch out for, we connect to make a benefit occur. It allows us to be responsible beyond our. Sometimes we think there's something we can do, but it's funny. I share this concept, the tool of Surge Vortex program, with my church, and we have the largest food bank in Western New York. We have 800 families drive through we just built a new drive-through garage, and we have a new walk-through warehouse that people can come that need food. We have had great need, especially after COVID and since. Well, we serve, and our congregation supports that. And we team with the local government, and they help us because they can't do it. They're not equipped to serve the people our church is. Well, we're doing that. Well, we still need money to operate it. We need money to have the building and the cost of operating it and all those things. That's a lot of stuff. And, when you have a congregation that's starting to get older, you don't have as many resources. Well, they do. That's the first thing I said to my pastor. We got a couple hundred people here that they all tell you about the trip. I tell you about the trip I just took, but I never tell you about the trip I'm about to take, because I don't want you to think for some reason that I'm going on a trip that money could have been used for our church. I don't want to be guilty. I'm not, and it shouldn't be. There's no reason, there's no guilt over it, but that's in human nature. What we do is we take a portion of what's going to be involved in the transaction to do travel. And because of what happened in COVID, it's no longer, I had a pastor tell me one time, the only way a church can collect money is on an offering plate. Now, that was pretty narrow-minded thinking, because today our church doesn't even have an offering plate. They just tell you here on the screen every week, they say, call this number, and you can use this number, and you can say how much you want to put in the offering plate today, or you can send a check to this address, or you can take your credit card and call it in. They don't even do that. Yeah, we do pray about it when we have time in church and honor that giving. But the stewardship of money coming into the church is no longer fixed to an offering plate. It's now fixed to a methodology. How do we get the money that's in the world? And it's a big world. And God, by the way, everybody listening in, God has an unlimited checkbook. We're the only one that puts limits on things. And so what I'm saying is, if we can capture money that's being transacted in the community and capture it to use to support our mission, our food bank, or other mission, send some people, missionaries out to a country to help them that they don't even have what we have, oh, well, then, gee whiz, if you can afford, you can do that. That's called stewardship. That's honorable. That can grow. That's reliable. And we organize it. Through Vortex, we have it organized in a simple operational way, and it can be seen. It's not like voodoo. It's real. And in doing that, we can empower, like in this case, my church is already, I've got the approval of the procedure pastor. I got approval of the pastor that handles all the men's ministries and all then the food bank and everything else. And they're jumping up and down saying, this is fantastic. We now have a source of money that can run the programs we're doing. Now, what's really neat, Rick, is we have that same program. You know those veterans that you're concerned about being able to train how to have another source of income? They don't even have to have a brick building. They can live in an apartment. They can live in a special house with other people. We can have people. They don't have to sit in the normal traditional way and operate 9 to 5. They can operate anytime, any place, 24/7, and create a cash stream. We can have somebody who doesn't own a car and has a rent due in 30 days or less, and we can help create the money to pay their thing using the tool of Vortex and helping other people. It's changing our view about looking inward to what we got to have a tool to do it. I always like to share the story. I love spring and summer because that's when get the tomato plants, and we're right now harvesting a bunch of. Linda brought some in because it got cool the other night. We brought a bunch of tomatoes in, and now they're turning red on the counter. But I love when they turn red and they're nice, and you slice them up. Well, you better not use a butter knife to slice them up because you'll make stewed tomatoes. What I like is get a Ginsu knife at a sharp implement. See, the Vortex is a sharp instrument to create prosperity and create prosperity in your individual budget or church's budget or your business budget. We're trying to find ways of capturing money to utilize it for causes. That's fulfilling a vision, a dream. That's moving in the side of what are we going to wait and who's going to take care of us and when, till we can make something happen and demonstrate that we can positively make a difference. And it's that vision that we caught on to when you introduced this to us. I had a friend I respected, that mutual, and he said, I ought to talk to you. And guess what? I'm so glad I made that call. For anybody listening on the show today, if you're not affiliated with the programs that we have available, you should get a hold of Rick Reese. You should get a hold of Bob Oakley. You should get a Country Boy. Because every one of those people can connect you. And if you get connected, you can make a difference. You can start today to make a difference in your life, in your family's life, and your family's life. And you can hold yourself up, your head up high, and know that you're making a difference in this horrible world that's got so many tragedies and so much bad stuff. How about becoming part of the team, the army, a mission of people making this a better world?
Amen.
That's my objective.
Amen. So true. Excellent words. Stewardship is so critical in taking on the responsibility to be good stewards. And I know that is what we're doing in even sharing the Surge 365 opportunity. Because, people are stuck. People are stuck in their routine. How does one get unstuck? Day in, day out, same job, same, until, the job says you're too old or, we have to let you go. That happens to everyone at some point in their life. They just, whatever, they're too old or, yes.
Do you know how to cook a frog?
so that he doesn't jump out?
I'm serious. I am absolutely serious. See, no self-respecting frog will jump into boiling water. But if you take a big pot and you fill it full of cold water and you put it on the stove, and you turn the heat on, and you just bring it up to a heat till it boils. Now you got to cook frog. See, in our lives, what we do is we make little decisions that add up. And so what we're asking people to do is part of that turning the corner, changing the course. We got to realize that each one of us are susceptible to being caught in the pot. And so it's like caught in the pot. You know, if you put a bunch of crabs in a pot, you don't have to put a cover on it. You put one in a pot, he can't keep them in there. The thing is, the other crabs will keep one that's trying to get out. They'll keep them down. They won't let them go out of there. And most of the time, we are in our lives stuck with a bunch of other crabs.
You know what's so interesting about that? What's so interesting about that? I was that crab, you know, trying to climb out, being pulled back. And the most interesting thing is, when I got free, I actually joined Amway back in the 80s, like most people did. And the thing that Amway back in those days taught me was how to dream. How to dream, you know, for a better life. You know, in the little workbook, they had the dream section. And I used to read that again and again and over and over. And it taught me how to dream. And so in my mind, I got set free in my mind. And the rest followed. Now, I didn't make any money, you know, in that opportunity. But you can say that I learned how to dream, which laid the foundation, you know, for my future in so many other different areas, including getting back into business, home-based business. But just on the job, dreams provide locomotion, provide motion in your life. If you can dream, if you can have a vision, you have movement in your life. And so I had movement. So I wasn't that frog sitting in water with the heat being turned up to a boil and a frog. And but Surge 365, as he was talking, I was looking at, in fact, yesterday I was looking at some of the incomes from 2023 in travel and people booking travel. Amazing incomes. In 2023, the top income earner in travel earned $2.7 million. The top 10 agent bookings. Actually, these are bookings, and of course, they earn commission on those. The 10th was $323,000 in bookings. You're talking some major money that these people are making, and with the tool Travmanity. And see, you guys do that. You guys are, you know, using the travel agent side of this, but with the tool Travmanity, it's an actual career in hospitality and tourism. There aren't many areas that you can go into where your investment is $499 for a career opportunity. People are going back to college and getting into debt, you know, $10,000, $20,000 and more. And so a person saying, hey, I want, and tie up for 2 to 4 years. I want a career in hospitality and tourism. And once I get, you know, not only do I want to become a travel agent, and I can become a travel agent, I want to become a specialist. You know, like your neighbor across the street, photographer, professional photographer. I want to be a wedding destination specialist, and I want to take that training. The training is online and free. You know, I like Carnival Cruise destination weddings where they get married on the ship. The training and access is free. I want to take, once everything clears up in the Middle East, I want to take trips to the Holy Land, groups to the Holy Land. The training is free. Event planning. Rick, I have an event planning business already. Well, you may want to join Search 365 because now you can work with venues, you can work with as partners in the industry and earn commissions. If you need to block rooms, or if you need to rent those limos or party buses, you have access to it. You have access to the entire industry as an event planner, not as a consumer event planner, but as an insider event planner with your own travel agency as an event planner. Rick, I'm obsessed with Disney. Believe it or not, you have some people who are obsessed. I want to be a Disney specialist. That training is free. Disney will send you boxes of material. They will put together, they give you a tool that you can put together your marketing materials and make brochures and make flyers. I actually did that, and with the marketing tools that Disney gives you. I didn't become a Disney specialist because the boxes scared me away. It's like 20 boxes of material. And it's not that I'm that excited about, the mouse and the glove. And but career opportunities. Travel is the number one U.S. export. You don't have any inventory because the industry is the industry. The cruise lines take care of the cruise ships. The airlines take care of the planes. You are just having access to everything. So when you look at an opportunity to get unstuck, and you say, Rick, I want to pursue a travel agent, career path, and see where that takes me. $4.99, it's included in the umbrella of the Surge products. Divorce.
Hey, Rick.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm sitting here as you're chatting. I've got the dashboard with a whole. By the way, we got a whole slew of people on the call today listening in. Want to welcome everybody. I'm sitting here with a stack. In the last couple of days, Linda sent out to some companies, our suppliers. We have companies. I don't know if you ever heard of Trafalgar Travel. They're a world-renowned travel company that has coaches. You go on. You've seen trains, planes, and automobiles, and cruises. And she's been away, and we've got Europe and Britain. I've got a USA and Canada, and I got worldwide tours that go like to places like Africa and the Orient and Japan and China and India. That's one. So she got a package of those yesterday, brochures. Then we got one Diamond Tours. You got a gal that's part of the Go Team Get organization that she has specialized in motor coach tours. Lynn and I were at a restaurant a couple of weeks ago called the Grapevine, and there was a big bus there, and this bus has big signs on the side of it, Diamond Tours, and all the people were there. They had little badges on. They were there for dinner. They had spent the day. They were from Philadelphia. And they came from Philadelphia to Niagara Falls, a tour. They stayed overnight, so they were there a couple of days. They did a couple different tour stuff. Well, Linda said, I think her name is Deborah. She sent us, and now I have the connection that we can use Diamond Tours. Our church wants to go to the events program that's down in Lancaster, PA. It's a Christian theater show. And people were driving down there and coming back in one night, which is about an 8-hour, 7-hour drive. And that's not something you want to do. So I've got a tour put together. I was never thinking of being in the tour coach business, but we had our church. Some of our church was this is a group of people, 40 people want to go. So now I've got this brochure here with all their places. They go all over the country. So if somebody wants to go on a bus tour somewhere, we've got a whole program to put that together. I never dreamed I'd be doing that. I never wanted to do that. But now I got somebody who wants to buy it. Gosh, I don't necessarily going to go, but I can give it to help someone put it together and help them earn income. That's just one of many things that we can do. Yeah, and so what I'm saying is just reiterating what you're saying, Rick. we can provide tools that allow people, and they don't have to go to college. When we were in Daytona 2 weeks ago, we drove right by the Daytona Speedway on the opposite side of the street. There's a huge brick building. I mean, huge. And it was the tourism and hospitality college. Big brick building. And people are spending thousands of dollars. What's more, they're spending time. They got to go sign up, give them money to the college, and sit in a classroom for a couple months, a year, maybe a year or two. And they're giving up their time to get so they can go get you educated to get a job. Where what we have is you get a business and you start making money. I think that's called smart.
Hey, Ron, the motor coach industry is $88 billion. The motor coach industry, especially since you have like an aging population, and a lot of people don't like to fly. The motor coach industry is $88 billion annual.
It's funny you mentioned. I don't want to drive all the way down to Philadelphia for a tour. And I'm living in Buffalo. That's 7 hours. I don't want to spend that much time.
Do that. There's people that love that.
Well, when I was 20, I didn't
I want to fly and get there. Huh?
Yeah.
I want to fly. I want to get there.
Somebody's got to turn the phone off.
They got the Wheezies. But, I want to fly. I want to get there and rent a car. But this is an industry because especially, going to casinos and going to, aging population, they just want to, the fun that they have on the buses. I was talking to the lady that's in Surge, and she was just saying the intimate fun that they have on the buses where they're playing games, they're laughing and they're talking, they've got television, and they're doing sing-alongs. And it really is a beautiful setting of fellowship. And there's people that actually just love that. And she takes groups from the nursing home, or not the nursing home, but the senior centers, and puts these groups together for them, these trips together for them. And it brings life to these people. It brings life to these people. They know each other being in the senior citizen place and coming and playing bingo and all the different things that they do. And but to go on a trip, to a landmark or wherever, they decide. In this particular case, the lady in Surge was taking them up to Canada. And they were going to see the riverfront, Casa Loma, all the different sites there in Toronto. But the company puts it all together for you. And so the person is like just a representative and says, hey, I got a group of 50 people and they want to go here. Can you put together this tour? The company puts together everything.
The hotel,
and of course, you earn a commission. Huh?
They put the hotel, the food, the other side
hotel,
trips.
the food, the whole thing. You
Hey, Rick, can I share something else happened to us? During COVID, we used to take Mom to her church, the parish where she was a member, and they still held some services, and so we would go there, take her, and we got to know the priest really well. He was a great guy. They had a church bulletin that they sold advertising in it, and it was cheap. And but the key is it supported the church. So I was supporting the church, Mom's church. So I bought an ad, put a little ad in there for Ron and Linda Claydon, our sales to travel. During that time, I will tell you, I don't remember ever getting a call about it. But that was my purpose, was not to promote ourselves. It was to let people know they could still dream. And someday COVID was going to be over, and there will. Well, the company that prints this bulletin is all over the United States. They not only do church bulletins, they do senior citizens everywhere. I don't care what community you're listening to, if you're part of the organization, you could run a little ad in the bulletin of a senior citizen center, which we did. It cost me $100, and we've got an ad in there, and we've already got people calling us. And we weren't even supposed to be in it until November. They put it out in October. I didn't know that, so it's Sunday. Someone brought it to us and said, "Hey, this is your travel business?" I said, "Yeah." Said, "Hey, we want to go on a cruise." She's coming with us in May when we go on the group cruise to the Caribbean.
Oh my gosh, build it and they will come.
You know, Rick, it's just incredible. I wasn't looking to advertising. I wasn't looking to promote it. But all of a sudden, an opportunity came, and it made sense. And I'm certainly not going to turn any money down. I'm retired. I don't have, when I was working and I was leaving Linda for 5 days a week and traveling the country, and I didn't see her except a couple hours of the weekend, go to church, cut the grass, and go back on a plane. We got a business for ourselves, and now we travel together. We're partners in our business. And you know what?
What's the name of your business?
Every time. RCLC Travel Solutions.
Wow. And you named it, right?
Yeah.
Ron Claydon, Linda Claydon.
We don't pay to make it.
Hey, Ronnie.
Y'all know what sardines look like in a can.
Hey, Ronnie.
Yes,
Robert.
Pretty good.
Is someone talking to you,
Hi, Robert?
Hey, Ronnie, how you doing?
We're doing great.
I just wanted to say hi to Rick. Rick, it's Bob Oakley. I just thought I'd give you I gave you a call, and I thank you for calling me back. But I I had my phone on mute last night, and I do that when I go to church, and then I forgot to take the phone off of mute. But anyway,
don't worry
thanks for
about
calling
it.
me back.
I do that even when I'm not at church.
I want to introduce you to my friend Gary Geiga. He's on the line here with us.
Hey, Gary.
You there, Gary?
Yep, I'm here.
Hey, we got to talk.
Gary and Rick Reese.
Gary, I hear you are the man.
Been told that many times in my life.
Hopefully by the right people.
You the man.
You the man.
You the man.
Hey, I sent you a form where you can become secondary to Bob.
Oh, okay.
Bob, that's
what
what
email?
I sent you.
I got 4 emails. Which one did you send it to?
Oh, no, I sent it to Bob.
Oh, okay.
But it may be on mute. Hey, Ron, send that to Gary if you have Gary's email.
I don't know. We want to talk to you separately, Rick, but I was wanting to see what your schedule was for either today or tomorrow, if we could talk.
Let's do today. I'll call you after we finish. I've got it. Well, I'll call you in about an hour after the show. So what's that? 2:00. If that's
about
okay
2 o'clock?
with you. Mm-hmm.
Did you say 2 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay, I'll give you a call around 2 o'clock.
Yes,
Gary, are you available
perfect.
then for that time?
Yeah, just loop me in.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, great opportunity. Absolutely great opportunity. Yeah, we'll talk to you at 2. And I'm looking forward to all the great things that you're going to bring to the table there, Gary. It's so beautiful when a person actually sees what we're saying. And because more people should see. And because it is access. It's access to not only the career opportunities in hospitality and tourism, but as we mentioned, the Vortex as a revenue-generating tool, as well as, of course, the membership to travel wholesale instead of retail. And so we show how they're applied to whether it be an individual, whether it be a church, organization, business. We show them how to apply the tool Search 365. So I look forward to talking to you. Back to you, Ron.
Well, thank you.
Excellent.
Gary, we do welcome you to the call and everybody else that's on today. It's amazing how fast time flies. We've been able to share a lot of things today, and we hope that we've offered an opportunity that puts a light on. We want to be a light in this world. So many people have reached the point in their life where they're not sure what road to go down, and they're even hesitant to go down a road. But what Rick Reese and his wife Brenda and other leaders, the founder of the company, Coach Tomer, Chris and Chris Coakley, who is now the CEO, president, owner of the company, and he is, by the way, his background, Chris Coakley, before he was the partner and CEO of Surge, he was known in the travel industry as the number one training person in the travel industry. His understanding of helping people build something from nothing. And I had a chance to meet Chris Coakley personally. In fact, Linda and I drove around Toronto one time for 4 hours because we got lost. He was in Toronto doing a seminar, and we got to personally escort him while we were his transportation. But the funny thing about it is, Chris started out as a family. They lived a big family of kids, and they lived in a one-room house down there in Alabama, Arkansas, one of those, Mississippi, one of those places. They're farmers, and they didn't have indoor plumbing. And here he is today, the owner, was president, CEO, now he's the owner of a multi-million-dollar company that has touched more lives and helped raise the economic limits of families. I like to use the word empower. We empower families to get above and beyond just waiting and treading water. And I'd like to say that we commit ourselves to doing that, and we're proud of our affiliations. So, folks, I hope you have a blessed day. Let's not forget those right now that are hurting so badly. And if you have the ability of gathering up some clothing and whatever, hey, we got to set up cookware. We replaced our cookware recently. We're the extra box of cookware. We're sending it to a church that's going to send a truckload of stuff down to Carolina. There are people that they lost everything, and we can help them. I would encourage every person on this call to do the same thing. Let's make a difference, guys. Let's help make this and let people be knowing that to be an American is a great place to be, and that when we're in trouble, we help each other. If that makes sense to you, I encourage you to take a minute to do that.
Yeah.
Rick, I'll sign off for the day.
Fantastic. Always a great show.
Thank you, everyone.
We'll see you.
Bye now.
Rick, I'll